Hi there, welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining me on this video today. I found this information on the internet and I wanted to see what you thought of it. So let's get into it. So let's say you got a letter from the government and in that letter you're going to work for the state for a year and you'll get paid practically nothing. Let's say $20, $30, whatever, but something quite small. Would you accept it or would you not? I probably wouldn't, but maybe a lot of people would. There has been information floating about the internet about a kind of universal pay system, which was going to be quite a kind of basic kind of setup. Everybody got the same pay. It's kind of unified, but this is kind of a wee bit different here and potentially could be a wee bit worrying, I think. So what I'm referring to anyway is something that was proposed in Norway, an actual suggestion from the left in Norway, and they were going to own you for a year. They will decide what you're going to do, whether it be military service, work in healthcare or some other kind of profession like that. But whether it be, you get this kind of flat rate, almost nothing per day of wage, and that would be for the year. As we know, Norway is a relatively small country, but you could easily see this moving into other countries as well. Just this kind of idea of owning the citizens for a year, this kind of test trial. It would just be too tempting for these kind of present governments with total control that are mostly in these Western countries now. And I will go as far as saying is our governments don't have any respect for us anymore. And people will disagree with me, they'll say I'm a lunatic. I almost question everything now, and I think I'm right in saying they don't have any respect for us, and we clearly saw that with the COVID, the pandemic, the lockdown times a few years ago. If they could lock down the world, lock down your country and decide, well, you're going to stay in your house or your apartment until we say you can go out, which is what happened in most countries. I don't think they would hesitate to put in something like this in, owning you for a year or suggesting or deciding that they will go down that route. What's to kind of stop them? They can lock down a world, they can easily do that. That'd be like a walk in the park for them to do something like that. So in Norway, it's kind of been sold to the public, astonishingly. And there seems to be support to the idea, but as always, they're kind of targeting the younger ones, the 19-year-olds, the young people. There's this opportunity to be part of society and to learn something. They kind of sugarcoat it. And I remember I saw another, I think it was that Neil McCoy that addressed it, I could be wrong, but he talked about this kind of universal kind of payments system and how they would go into like the lower earning bracket, and everybody in that bracket would get the same wage. They would also maybe look to the benefits, people on the benefits in the UK system, they would get this kind of flat rate, and that would, these people would take it up in a heartbeat, because it's a consistent, it's a monthly salary, you can plan where you are, and then they would kind of roll out on more a mass production. So they kind of sugarcoat that, and it's almost similar here. But they're hitting the 19-year-olds, the young ones. But again, people may hit back at me about this, but it's almost ownership of people, and like I can hear people now saying, "Oh, paranoid," but just if that was to be rolled out on a mass scale, you can't deny it. It's total ownership over your life of the government just taking control and telling you what to do. It's no different to the lockdowns. I think, you know, people really need to start waking up and seeing what's going on out there. Did we ever have freedom? I know we have to work and pay the bills, but it's kind of gone on from there. We're told when to come to office, when we can leave, how long we have a lunch break. We've just been conditioned to accept that, and now they're pushing more and more. If it's not the lockdowns, it's looking like this, maybe this trial in Norway where we'll own you for a year. When are they going to stop? That's it, really. You know, if this is pushed through in Norway, and it has some interest, you could see it being trialled in other countries, and then where's it going to stop? And you know, somebody once said, if you're willing to trade freedom for security, you deserve none, or something like that. But I think what we're seeing now is people have willingly given up freedom for a sense of security, for that illusion, of course, but they've been promised security and gave up their freedoms. And this is just what I've been talking about. And now they're just slowly tightening the noose more and more. Now we all have to pay the price for that, at least accept what's coming. And I worry for the coming generations. I worry for my daughter. What kind of life will she ever be able to own a house? It's looking less and less likely. Well, we're hoping, you know, I'll be able to build a house for her. We have a wee bit of land, but it's a lot of people, it's not even a reality, and even if they can, they're getting into this massive mortgage which will be with them for their whole life. And I'm just waiting for the mortgages to come into the UK where it'll surpass that generation and be handed over to the next generation, which I think is the case in Japan, but I could be wrong. So yeah, it doesn't look good for future generations either. You know, in the UK, almost everything is leased: the house, the car, life. And people say we have freedom because we can go on a holiday once a year, or we get a break at Christmas. Or we get the weekends. Some of us work. I know people who work 6 days, 7 days, they don't take a day off. That's not freedom. You're a prisoner to society, to the ruling class, and you need to wake up. You know, people say we have democracy, but it depends how you look at it, but I see it as an illusion sometimes. You know, there's another situation in Norway. Norway's a beautiful country. I've been there. I used to have a friend up there, and she had a cabin in the mountains, and just absolutely stunning country. Really liked Norway. Just nature, it was beautiful to me. But in Norway's covered in trees, and they're cutting down all these trees, very old European trees, and for wood pellets to feed Europe. And then in replace, they're putting these wind farms which are just toxic, killing it. And you can't deny the evidence out there. They break down, they intoxicate the surrounding environment, they kill birds, and they can only be switched on so much. They're switched off if it's too windy, switched on if there's no wind. And then when they're finished with, they can't even really be recycled. They're just absolute waste of money. So, not good. This whole green kind of approach is very questionable, but the people that are in charge, they're just almost in charge of misery, and they don't care. They don't care about the people, they don't care about nature. It's all about lining their pockets and control. they're just so greedy, and so many of them are corrupt now. It's just not good. Not good. And I feel like Europe is really being kind of squeezed and picked on and trying to be destroyed in many ways. But, well, that's how I see it. Everybody has their own different ideas. So, but thanks for joining me on that video today. I hope you enjoyed my wee rant, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.